As Kai said, and as you can see on the boards, SIUE is such a big part of the community. I thought we should have somebody here other than sports related. So Marlee had sent me a thank you card for the donation I made. She has wonderful handwriting. She really impressed me, so I called her to talk. A little background on Marlee. She has an interest in history. So after completing her bachelor's degree in history with a minor in philosophy, her senior assignment in modern Irish history from Illinois College, she moved to Northern Ireland to study an immersive experience to explore the country's history and its relationship with decolonization. She returned to the US and got her master's at U of I. Before coming to SIUE, she'd worked in a public library and a special library, so she wanted to see if academic libraries were a good fit as well. She fell in love with it. She came to SIUE in 2012 and served in multiple roles. In 2022, she was named the interim associate dean and was named the dean of the Library of Information Sciences in 2024. So she's the dean now. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Let me just get set up here. Okay. Hello. I didn't even remember a lot of that stuff about myself. I did indeed. I forgot that I lived in Northern Ireland. It's so wonderful to be here with you today. As Mark said, I'm Marlee Graser, and I'm so lucky to be the Dean of Library and Information Services at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, just up the road. Today, I'll be talking to you about the resources, programs, and services that we provide at Lovejoy Library for our campus and our community. I want to thank you for having me this afternoon. Just a bit of information about myself before we get started. I'm originally from this area. That's why I went to Illinois College. It was close to home, but far enough away that my parents would leave me alone. I grew up in Bethalto, Illinois, just up the road. And my dad was actually a member of the Rotary Club in Bethalto. I don't know if they're rivals here, if you hate everyone there. He was a Rotary Club member for a number of years when I was younger. So this presentation feels like a full circle moment. And I'm really privileged to be in front of you today. As Mark said, I left my hometown to pursue a career in libraries. I've worked at public libraries and special libraries like the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library in Springfield, and then worked at a nonprofit art center for a little bit before I joined SIUE in 2012. So I've been there for about 14 years. I actually started as a secretary in the library's administration office. So it has been a winding and long road to get where I am today. I've been the dean for about 2 years, so it all feels very new, but it has been such an honor to work on a campus full of people dedicated to the success of our students. I thought I would start today. I don't know, is the Glen Carbon Centennial Library Director here today? Okay, good. She can't fact check me. I thought I'd start today by comparing us as an academic library to something you might be a lot more familiar with, which is your local public library. There are a lot of ways that our libraries are similar. As much as possible, we both provide equitable access to information resources, regardless of a person's background or economic status. We both emphasize lifelong learning and civic engagement. We both help people develop the skills they need to find, evaluate, and use information effectively and ethically. We are both committed to intellectual freedom, diversity of viewpoints, and the free exchange of ideas. And we're both community-centered. Our communities just differ slightly. We collect, organize, and preserve and provide access to information for the general community and for our community at SIUE. Libraries empower people and communities through equitable access to information, learning opportunities, and the preservation and sharing of knowledge. So what is the difference? Well, the major differences don't lie in the underlying purpose. Our values are remarkably similar, as I've sort of discussed. But the primary audience and the context of our work differ. Public libraries support the informational, recreational, educational, and cultural needs of the general public in their communities, and academic libraries do the same and advance the teaching, learning, research, and scholarly mission of the university. Our mission at SIUE is to develop professionals, scholars, and leaders who shape a changing world. This is a lofty goal, to be sure, but a very worthwhile one. And Lovejoy Library exists to support that mission. So how do we do that? Well, Lovejoy Library aims to be the intellectual heart of the campus. We engage students throughout their academic careers to ignite curiosity, foster creativity, and nurture the creation of new knowledge. And we do that by providing resources, learning experiences, and spaces that empower students to achieve excellence and to build a foundation of future success in their academic, professional, and eventually their civic lives. I think if you ask anyone what a library is, they'll most likely describe a big, beautiful building with lots of shelves and just brimming with books. And as a librarian and as an avid reader, that sounds like heaven to me. I think the library's resources are the most recognizable things we provide to students and to the community. And while we provide so much more than that as well, the information resources we provide are critical to the success of our mission to support students and faculty in their research and scholarly work. Lovejoy Library has a physical circulating collection, so the books that you see, also DVDs, vinyl LPs, all of that, of around 200,000 volumes, and a huge digital collection of digital books, journals, streaming media that over doubles that number. We have regular academic works of literature, music scores, vinyl LPs, maps, atlases, government documents, and so much more. And if we don't have it, we have a robust network of borrowing and loaning to other libraries that gives our students and faculty access to the great works of literature and information resources from pretty much any university or public library in the United States that will do business with us. If we don't have it, we can get it, usually within a day or two. Last year, between our digital and physical collections, our resources were accessed over 470,000 times. Libraries are still relevant. I get that question a lot. Where are libraries headed? Libraries are still relevant, they're still used, and they still serve the mission of the community. But we don't just have books. We also have a large collection of university archives and special collections materials in linear feet. So just going by how much shelving we dedicate to the storage of our collections, our university archives is as large and diverse as our physical circulating book collection. So there's a lot of stuff. University Archives collects, preserves, and makes accessible collections related to the founding and administrative history of SIUE. For example, we hold all of the university photographers' photo negatives from the founding of the university to about through the early 2000s, I think. That includes photos related to university life, the Mississippi River Festival. Many of you were around then. So if you're an alum of the university, you might be archived. You might be somewhere in there. We also hold faculty research collections. So the research faculty do on the campus, sometimes their materials come to us. For example, we have a collection of Dr. Eugene B. Redmond, who dedicated his career to collecting a small archive related to the Black Arts movement from the 1960s and 1970s. There's now a center named after him on the second floor of the library, the Eugene B. Redmond Learning Center. He's a really prolific author, and we hold his collection. We also hold a modest number of collections related to the history of the Southwestern and Metro East regions of Illinois. For example, we hold the Etienne Cabet collection. Forgive the pronunciation, I do not speak French. Etienne Cabet was a philosopher and a self-professed utopian socialist. I don't know if those things can coexist, but he certainly thought that they could. And Etienne Cabet founded a socialist society that settled in Nauvoo, Illinois, just after some of the Mormon communities were moving out. Cabet's community didn't last very long. It was kind of plagued with problems, but it's a fascinating short chapter in Illinois history, preserved and made available by the dedicated team at Lovejoy Library. I think the most surprising thing to most people in terms of the services we provide is that Lovejoy Library isn't just a big warehouse of books. No library is. We also have a dedicated group of library faculty who teach the information literacy skills students need to find, evaluate, and use information effectively and ethically. And that is an increasingly important skill to have in a world where the information economy is rapidly shifting around us and with the rise of alternative search engines and artificial intelligence. Before you ask, I get this question a lot about whether these technologies will make libraries and librarians obsolete. And I am perhaps biased. But from my perspective, the skills we have as librarians, the skills we teach to students are the exact skills that will be needed to navigate the world around them beyond their time in college, to develop into professionals who can ask the right questions, into scholars who can find the right answers, and into leaders who can apply their knowledge to make decisions that shapes a changing world. We teach in their existing classes. So there's a foundations course, English 102, that has this big research assignment. We're embedded in that curriculum. So we go into these classes and we teach the research skills students need for their research papers and assignments. We also have librarians who meet one-on-one with students to train them individually on the skill sets that they need to be successful. Last year, we taught over 8,000 students information literacy at various stages of their academic journey, from freshmen and even pre-collegiate all the way through graduates. Beyond the books and our information literacy curriculum, the library is also one of the main anchors of student success spaces on campus. In fact, the library was recognized as being so important to the mission of the university at its founding that it was one of the first buildings constructed on campus in 1965. The library, and all libraries to be honest, serve as a third space. Is anyone familiar with the concept of a third space? If you're not, a third space is critical to the open, equitable, and democratic society. They are neither home, just like the first space, nor work, which is the second, but a third type of free public space without the obligations and expectations of home or work. These spaces are crucial to building community, social equality and connection, civic engagement, where people can come together to engage with one another and exchange diverse ideas. To that end, Lovejoy Library hosts some really interesting and diverse programming for our students, faculty, and community. Over the past few years, we've had the Poet Laureate of the United States, Ada Limon, come and speak and do a reading. We've hosted a team from the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture for a community archiving initiative and speakers related to the collective development of community and family histories in our region. We also host some smaller events aimed at student well-being and belonging. So every year we host a Dia de los Muertos, also don't speak Spanish, Dia de los Muertos celebration. We have therapy dogs come in during finals week. We host a creative writing club, and we have rotating displays of book displays and archival exhibits that highlight our resources. And of course, the library is a hugely popular study space on campus as well. Our spaces support all types of studying and use. We have big tables and open study spaces for group study spaces that look like old phone booths for individual focus. These are also rated for folks who have neurodivergent issues. We have group study rooms for collaborative work. I think last year, we had 2,200 reservations of our group study rooms, so they are being used. And we even have some treadmill and bike desks for students who need to move their bodies in order to move their minds. We also try to meet the social and emotional needs of students who are chronically stressed and overwhelmed. Around the library, we have huge beanbag chairs. We have nap pods, which you can see here. It looks like a spaceship. It reclines, it pipes in white noise. It will set an alarm for you, for anyone who needs to rest and recover from something like an all-nighter or just the rigors of college life. We also received a grant in 2017 to develop a small meditation room on the third floor for students to use for contemplation, prayer, mindfulness, or just to get a break from all of the noise on campus. On our first floor, we have a very large maker lab. I know that they have a fab lab here. I don't know if folks are familiar with maker labs or maker spaces in libraries. They support creativity and help students learn by taking an idea from imagination into the real world. Our maker lab has 3D printers, large poster printers, button makers, which are super popular, t-shirts, mug printers, what else? CNC routers, engravers, and much more. It's a really cool and popular space for students to come in and play. Our aim is to intentionally design spaces that support students at every stage of their academic journey, from social spaces to quiet nooks. If you're an alum of the university and have visited recently, you'll note that just how different it looks from when you might have been a student. We've changed the library a lot over the past couple of decades, and we're now beginning the process of developing a new master plan for the library's interior spaces to continue our mission of meeting the evolving needs of campus. As the intellectual hub of SIUE, Lovejoy Library is a vibrant space where ideas are exchanged, critical thinking is nurtured, and lifelong learning is encouraged. If you haven't visited us in a while, or you've never visited us at all, I encourage you to come and take a look. I would love to give you a tour and tell you more about our programs and services, especially the ones that I couldn't cover in 10 to 15 minutes today. Thank you for having me today. It was an honor to speak with you. Does anyone have any questions about the library or about SIUE? Yeah.
So you mentioned the mission is geared towards students and faculty. Do you have any resources for those for alumni or community at large?
Yes. So as community members, you can come in and you get a community card. We call it a community card. You take nothing away from you. You just use your driver's license. So you can access all of the physical book collection and check out materials. You just have to sign up. And then on ground, because of it gets into the weeds and into technical issues, but because of licensing restrictions, you can actually still access when you come into the library and you get on one of our computers, you can access the full range of databases, electronic journals, scholarly works that we have available to the whole campus community. So we're a really great resource for all sorts of things. We have ancestry.com right now. I think that your public library most likely does too. Newspapers.com that help with genealogical research. And then if you're just interested in scholarly academic works, we have the full range of databases available to you. You just have to come in to use them.
So can I access those on my computer on a network, or it has to be?
Most of them have to be on our computer because it's behind an IP. I think if you're logged into like Welcome to SIUE, you might be able to access the databases on your laptop too. Some of them, because of licensing restrictions, not all, but some of them. All of them if you're on the computer.
$100.
$1,000. You had a question?
That's the summer hours.
We do. Our summers are so quiet. I hate it. I hate summers. There are no students. Most of our programs are online in the summer. So we have very few students. So we do adjust our hours, and we use data to support that. We do walkthroughs and gate counts and things like that. But we expand them in the fall and summer. And this year we'll be expanding our hours even more to support growing enrollment at SIUE, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Just talking about how the library exchange went high. Most people here went to school, still had card catalogs.
We still have a couple card catalogs. Yeah.
For my home foundation.
Nostalgia.
Now it's all digital.
It is mostly digital. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe before COVID, you used to set up book donations.
No, we aren't accepting book donations. We do accept some book donations when they are like intentional, targeted, focused research collections. So for example, there was a long emeritus faculty member in the Department of Psychology who developed a research collection around her area of psychology, who donated her collection, her book collection to the library. Another, Dr. Steve Tamari, is a Syrian scholar and donated, and we have some gaps, subject level gaps in our collection around that area. So we were very happy to take that, like popular readings and things like that. We don't accept those anymore. It just became too much to process. Yeah.
You mentioned the community card, the driver's license. Do you still have the alumni card if you're an alum of the school?
We kind of rolled it all into one. Yeah, you're automatically, as you don't even have to live in the area, to be honest. But you're automatically able to come in and just set up a community account. And alumni are shoo-ins. Yeah.
Right, any more questions?
Thank you so much for having me.
Time to drop it.
I drove the 50.
You got it. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, there is.